Nobody's late. Thank you. Okay,
What?
so March 3rd and March 10th. Here are just my general announcements before we get started. March 3rd and March 10th, we will have kind of a different virtual classroom schedule. And the reason is because, well, it's TCAP testing both of those weeks, so it just kind of messes everything up. I'm sure some of you remember that. And so you guys will come at different times. So I have linked this on the agenda so you can see. Here's just an example. If you are Corbin Campbell, who is sick today, by the way, you will come from 9:30 to 10:15. See how it's all one color on March 3rd. If you are, let's just say you're Patrick Boland, you will come on March 3rd from 10:15 to 11. Okay?
Okay.
And then on March 10th, if you are Jade Davis, for instance, you will come from 9:30 to 10. If you do not see your name on March 10th, it's because you do not have to come on March 10th if you don't see your name. If you do not see your name on March 3rd, it means you're not coming on March 3rd. And I will give you, as we get closer, I'll tell you what we're doing those days. You don't have to do anything for it. You've basically already done the work. So
I won't be at the TCAP testing, so do I have to be at the VC? I'm just wondering.
Yes, this has nothing to do with TCAP testing. These VCs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then
I also have a question
okay.
about this software update.
Uh huh.
Shouldn't we do it because there's supposedly a patch in their security?
I'm not sure what software update you're talking about.
Oh, my computer
Windows
just
something?
popped up a software update.
Oh, definitely do a software update, but maybe wait until after the virtual classroom because you
Yeah,
might.
that's what I was gonna do.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, Miss
Um,
Bruns, I got my slideshow.
okay, good. So we are ready to go. But anyway, I just wanted you to be aware that March 3rd and March 10th are different. And then,
Actually, on those times I have the same PC. I have the same VC time on
oh,
March.
well, that's fantastic. Huh. Hold on, I'm replying to the principal. Hmm. Bye, Emma.
Bye
Bye.
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 I might be able to watch the recording.
Yeah, she's going to have to watch the recording, I think. Okay. Here we go. And then on Tuesday, oh, sorry, for those of you who are attending TCAPS, and I know some of you are not, and that's fine, here is your schedule and here is the location. So just kind of be aware of that. And then for the 27th, that would be this Thursday, we have a TCAP prep type of virtual classroom, but don't worry, it's good for all students. So even if you're not taking the test, it'll still be fun for you. Okay? All right. Give me a happy face in the chat if you're ready to begin and you have your presentation up on the screen. Okay, Tyler's ready. Tristan's ready. This is good. Adam is ready. I just want to make sure that we're all set and ready to go. Good.
I'm ready.
Okay. Yay, we're excited too. Um yeah, so just a little I know you're excited. Just a little overview of what we've been accomplishing for these last couple weeks. And I'm getting a little bit of feedback noise, so I'm going to go ahead and mute you for now. And then I'll turn your microphones back on when it's your turn to present. All right. So we have been working on these first two world-class outcomes on financial literacy and global awareness. And as we kind of started this project, we realized that we really couldn't choose one or the other world-class outcome. They were both really important. And so within our projects, we actually used both of these world-class outcomes. So we did find the most cost-effective and smart solution to our problem. And we also made sure to represent the culture of the country accurately, and I should say, and artistically. Okay. So it was kind of eye opening to see that we really couldn't select one or the other, that we were all going to incorporate both. So that was cool. All right. And then So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just kind of going over our world-class outcomes and our 21st century skills that we've been talking about. And then together we created a rubric. So let's just take a look at that. And in our last virtual classroom, we had everybody present basically their rough draft of what they had done so far. And then we gave each other comments and feedback on how to get maybe a higher score and some areas that maybe we should improve on. So these first two areas, the accuracy and the grammar and that kind of stuff, I just did those myself. But these last three categories, we spent a virtual classroom developing together. So you guys really have ownership in this rubric that you are being assessed on. So as you can see, we're doing our world-class outcomes. That's one of those categories. 21st century skills. And then also the 4 C's, our creativity, communication, critical thinking, and collaboration. So after you all present today and these projects have been shared with me, you will get your final rubric shared with you when I'm done. Okay? All right. Let's see a happy face in the chat if we're ready to start presenting, so I won't take too much more time. All right, looks like we're good. And Tristan, go ahead and type your question to me in a private chat. Do I have a volunteer to go first? Okay, Patrick. All right, Patrick, I'm going to turn on your microphone. You're going to turn on your microphone, and I'm going to make you the presenter.
Okay.
You're going to see something come up on your screen that says show my screen, and go ahead and click yes.
Okay.
There you go. And whenever you're ready.
So Olympic presentation, the flowers of Taipei.
Okay.
Plum blossom. The plum blossom, scientific name Prunus May, is the national flower of Taiwan. Adopted on July 21st, 1964, it produces blossoms that are pink and white and has a delicate fragrance. This flower has great symbolic value for the Chinese people because it survives in harsh winter weather.
Okay, so let me just stop you for just a second, Patrick. Make sure that you're speaking really loud. And so
Okay.
far, you're doing great. You've already told us why you chose this particular flower to be part of your Olympic design. I can
Okay.
see that it has great symbolic value for this country. Good.
Yep. And then the magnolia blossoms, other than the national flower, Taiwan has designated flowers for each of their countries. Magnolia, scientific name Magnolia compressa, is the flower for, I could not pronounce this country, but Chaya country.
Sure, it's just a section of your overall country that's found in, so,
Yep.
of Taiwan.
The red silk tree. Other than the national flower, Taiwan has designated flowers for each of their countries. The red silk tree, scientific name Bombax ceiba, is the flower for Taichung country.
And it's actually,
County.
yeah, county,
Sorry.
exactly. And so basically, you're choosing a flower to represent each one of the different counties of Taiwan. That's great.
Well, other than the national flower, blah blah blah. Taiwan has designated flowers for each of their countries. The fire wheel, scientific name Gilliardia pushiera, is the flower for Penghu County.
Okay. And so it looks like you've
Willow.
chosen quite a few different flowers. And remember, not everybody had to do that, but maybe Taiwan had several to choose from.
Yeah, they had many. Another common flower that grows in Taipei is the willow primrose, scientific name Ledwiga octovalis, which is a very pretty flower.
Yeah, you just
see, the
Chrysanthemums. Hmm.
chrysanthemums. The chrysanthemums. The chrysanthemums are also very popular in Taipei. Scientific name Dendranthema grandiforum are often grown in gardens and are seen in local floral arrangements. And here's the cost analysis
Okay.
or estimate.
Sure.
So
All right. Can you tell us a little bit about which flowers maybe are more abundant and why you would use them in your final design?
I think I would use the red silk tree because it's one of the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the national plum blossom
Okay. Because it's
because it's their
abundant?
national flower.
Okay.
And then probably the fire wheel because it's one of the counties. And the last one would be magnolia because
All
it's another
right.
county. So it's one of the big ones.
One of the big ones. So when you say one of the big ones, it's more abundant, so maybe it would be more cost effective. Is that kind of what
Yeah,
you're getting at?
kind of. Yeah, it's one of the big ones, and it's for all the counties. So
Okay, great. And so it is
that's what
representative
I'm
of the
thinking.
culture.
Yep.
All right. So great job, Patrick. What do you guys think? Did Patrick do a good job? Let me go ahead and change it back to my screen so we can um, take a look here at these world class outcomes again. But do you think that this represented the culture of the country Taiwan artistically and accurately? And do you think he found the most cost effective type of flowers to use in his arrangements? Oh yeah,
Probably, I think so.
very good. All right, nice job, Patrick. Do we have a volunteer to go next? Claire. Okay, Claire. So I'm going to make you the presenter. So you're going to see the thing pop up on your screen that says show my screen. So go ahead and click OK. Let me make sure your microphone is on, Claire.
It's on.
Okay, it's on. Perfect.
Can everybody see it?
Yeah, can you make it maybe a little bigger? Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Sounds good.
That's really
Belgium's beautiful poppies. Why the red poppy? During World War I, poppies became the symbol of life, peace, and hope. They were the only life that sprung up on the bombed out battlefields, where thousands of men lost their lives, including Flanders Field.
Wow.
Flanders Fields was once the home to many farmers and their families. In 1914 through 1918, it was turned into a battlefield, where thousands of men fought and died on Flanders Fields.
This is good. So we're getting a little bit of background on the culture and history of Belgium, and then also you're finding the flower that's abundant there. That's great.
John McCrae was an important part of the poppy popularity. He was a physician and fought on the battlefield. After seeing the poppies rise after all the death, he wrote the famous poem in Flanders Fields.
Okay.
How the poppy represents the country's rise from ashes of World War I. It united the country as one culture, as one after World War I, and a national holiday, Remembrance Day. And it made Belgium a country of peace.
Wow.
Okay, so now this is my design.
Oh, that's pretty. Okay, so we're looking at just one flower, and sometimes that's more powerful when you just use one. That's great. And so you would say hope, life, and peace.
I
Okay,
chose hope, life, and peace because those are the words that describe the red poppy. So I put the words into the red poppy.
great. All right, and what else do we have here? We have
This is why you should pick mine. This arrangement best represents Belgium's ability to bounce back from World War I. The poppies represent both the Olympics and Belgium's spirit for life, peace, and hope. The red poppy symbolizes Belgium's past and looks forward to the future.
wow.
And one more, why is it cost effective? Poppies grow naturally, no fertilizing, no planting. They grow in large groups of hundreds. They're easy to care for and they don't need a lot of water.
Wow. Wow, I am so impressed. I think this would be, it's kind of a silly question, really, but what do you guys think? Did she find a cost effective solution to represent Belgium artistically and accurately and fairly? You could just type into the chat a happy face. Yeah, definitely. All right. Did she represent the culture and a little bit of the history of Belgium at the same time? Yeah, she did. Wow, this is really good, Claire. Pat yourself on the back. I'm proud. All right. So we had a request from Tyler V to go next. So I'm going to go ahead and make him the presenter. And sorry, I'm moving us along kind of quick, but we have a lot of kiddos, and then we're going to have more show up at 10:15. So I want to make sure everybody gets a chance to present. All right, so we're looking at Tyler's. Yep, go ahead and there you go. Make it nice and big for us. Perfect. Okay. All right, Tyler. Oh, let me make sure that your microphone is off or on. Sorry, Tyler. That was my fault. You go right ahead. Your microphone is on now.
Right. You can still see when I enlarge it, right?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay. And some of them don't have bullets and some of them do because the bullets I forgot to add. So a couple have some bullets and some don't.
Oh,
So I'll make those changes as I read.
sure.
But Brazil's national flowers. We got my main flowers I picked and why, which I chose them because they were some of the best flowers there that naturally are grown there, and they all have multiple colors.
Wow, yeah. Okay, so yeah, let's go a little slower. Okay, so start with your first one. Looks like the orchid.
The Catalyzed labetta. This orchid is a uncommon, but it is a very beautiful flower that's located to the northernmost tip of South America to northern coast of Argentina. They they aren't obviously very, they're not so common, but they're still not like as rare as like other stuff can be.
Okay.
Because I mean, what the price of one is about to an average of $80 to $70.
Oh, wow. So realistically, would you use several of these in your final design?
Um, well, you'll see when the total price is over with.
Oh, okay.
It's not so pretty.
Okay.
But usually these are either grown in the cities or they are growing in the outskirts of a city usually, but they're more likely to be found growing out into the jungle region of Brazil, like Rio and stuff,
Okay.
those type of cities.
Rio. Uh-huh.
There we go. And then next flower is the Necromo cannular. I think I'm saying that right. Or, well, what most people use is the walking iris.
Right.
And this one has some bullets, though, actually. But the walking iris is kind of like a hybrid because it started growing, two different flowers started growing next to each other. So they kind of combined to make the walking iris. I don't know what other one was the other part, but I know it's part of the orchid, but
Oh,
I don't know what the other flower that it grew with was. I couldn't find it,
interesting.
but it is it is commonly found in the regions of Western Africa to South America. So I mean, it's in Brazil, just not too much, not by much.
Okay, so it's there, but maybe it's not the most common. All right, so you're definitely choosing some very unique flowers so far. Um, I'll let you go on.
Yeah, I think three out of the five are hybrids. I just couldn't figure out what they were hybrids with. The
Oh,
walking, the walking iris was the only one I knew that was part of the Catalai. I think I'm
okay.
saying.
Yeah.
It give a lot of people usually have these in their houses when they can because it gives a very good fragrant smell for about a couple 18 hours or so every day, or well every 2 days, because these it has pellets that grow on the side of it, and these pellets, they give a very wild smell. So a lot of people usually have these in their house decorating and clearing out any like stench.
Okay, so do you think that that could represent part of the culture of Brazil if they keep them in their house?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Now next is this isn't so commonly found. The reason why, I mean, once you find the area where it grows, you could find a lot. But since there's not a lot of drier regions near Rio, I mean not Rio, sorry, Brazil,
Mhm.
they're not easy to actually find where they're located. But when they are found where they're located, there's a lot of them usually.
Oh,
So,
okay.
but it they call it the Freela mammarif, or well, just the common name I could find out was a yellow cactus flower.
Good.
And the Freela, it is commonly found in the drier areas of region. Obviously, it's cactus. What would you expect?
Hmm.
But the it has a very slim stem, which is why not too many people use it because it easily kind of like gets bent and kind of cut off. But it's only like centimeters wide, so I mean it's not very thick.
Okay.
But most of the time, tribes use it for like the pellets. I think are able to soak up or help wounds. So tribes usually pick a couple and use it if they get like a cut or something.
Wow. All right. So
So
it's a useful
it's very
flower as
useful for
well.
tribes. It's very useful for tribes. But then we got another type of orchid. It looks the same, but it's not really the same. It just looks like it though. But it's yeah. I don't know why it looks the same. I think it's the wrong type of picture, but because the when I got it off the website though, this was the name and stuff. But it's called the Lalus anceps, which it's another orchid.
Right.
So yeah,
Is this
orchids
one
are
more
very
common?
no, it's kind of like the first orchid. They're both very expensive.
Oh, okay.
But it is usually found just like the other one, except they're both harder to find.
All
But
right.
they're both located in the southern tip of America, in Argentina. But they the kind of just it's pretty much the same information. It grows on the outskirts of cities, very rarely in the city, and but the tribes actually use this one for decorating their like clothes, you could say, for any tribes because
Sure.
apparently it just looks good on tribal clothes.
Okay.
And
So I think that definitely does represent the culture if they use it to decorate their clothes, for sure.
yeah. Well, actually, if I remember correctly, there's a festival they have every year, and usually, if I remember correctly, there's one that they use like multiple of these giant build this giant float and they cover it in them. So it looks very beautiful, actually.
Yeah.
So it costs a
Very
lot of money, but
detailed.
and then now I couldn't find out the scientific or what the common name would be called, so that's why they're both the same. It
Okay.
wasn't a mistake. It's just, but the Quelinista tusto, I think is how you say it,
Sure.
is usually just found by tribal camps, growing by trees or on the trees actually, because they grow near the trees because what they do is their roots are kind of sharp, so they jab into the other tree's roots and use part of the tree's water too. So usually they can be found near like semi-dead trees because they're using half of the water.
Sure.
And the tribes they use this one for using the I would say vines, the roots as arrow tips, but with a bit of reinforcement like other stuff, like maybe a bit of string there and stuff. But it is common. So three of them are usually very used by tribes.
Okay.
So they represent the country pretty well.
Hmm.
And then this is the total cost. The cactus flower $9. We need about 42, so $378. Necromance or the walking iris is 12, so 120. The lally lily is $70, and we need about 30, so $2,100.
Okay.
The quesadilla is about 50, and we need about 17, so that's on 850. Then we got the orchid, $75, need about 30, which is $2,500. Transportation U.S. to Brazil. So I meant to switch that around. It's supposed to be Brazil to USA, but
That's all right.
yeah, because I don't think any of those really would ever grow here. But it would cost about an average of $4,000. So the total is almost $10,000 for
Okay.
everything.
Sure.
And then here's my final design.
Oh,
And these are the names that represent what colors are which. The pink's kind of hard to see, but it's at the top.
yeah, definitely. All right. So we have the flag and then the Olympic rings, and then of course you tied in all of the different flowers. Um, this was very good. I'm going to turn everybody's microphone back on. Does anybody have an idea of how he can make it maybe more cost effective? And I only say that because, well, he used a lot
Yeah,
of
that's a lot
flowers
of
that
money
are
for
rare.
flowers. It's a lot of money for flowers.
Yeah. So does anybody have an idea for him? How can he maybe make it more cost effective?
Um, he could. Um, I don't know actually.
Could he maybe use more of the abundant flowers and then, for the flowers that are really rare and expensive, maybe he can use um, those would be kind of sparse, and then in between he'd have to use something else to kind of fill it in. Um,
Well, the reason why I chose these, it's not because I wanted rare, like special flowers. It's just the other flowers. They weren't either from Brazil, and people just had them in the Brazil slot for some reason. Like
oh,
kind of like how people will post
Oh, okay.
usually in a vase place where you
So
search
now
like
it's my
vases.
turn, right?
So I mean, I couldn't find other flowers that from Brazil. And the only other ones, the guy that found them did not know their name, and
oh,
he didn't. And so, kind of like as if it's like as if he found half of these flowers were hybrids that were haven't been really fully discovered yet.
wow.
So
This
I was
is
kind of stuck with no choice between these, I would choose one that's about an average of $150 per flower. So that would not be cheap, especially knowing that it's multiple colors. So if I wanted to, I could use that one single flower for the whole thing,
right.
but that would be way, way more expensive than this is.
Oh, well, there you
So
go.
I,
So then you really did think about it and find a smart solution, and you really did think about it being cost effective. So even if they're rare and not, necessarily cheap, you did find a
right,
way to get around that problem. So,
that's kind of like how Brazil is. Brazil has very beautiful flowers, but a lot of them aren't fully discovered and they don't have a name yet.
right.
Some of them are just rare, and then a couple of them they are just usually like used a lot, so there's not too many of them growing because a lot of people use them more than they grow.
Oh, well, gosh,
Kind
that
of
we have
kind of
learned
like
so much.
yeah,
Thank you.
the tribe uses this one so much that it's actually starting to become a little less more common.
Oh, well, all right. Well, I have just turned the controls over to Adam. So you did a fantastic job. Yeah, definitely. You really thought this through. So thank you. And we'll
Thank
move
you.
on to Adam's.
All right, one thing though, my mom is wondering out of a scale from one from A, what grade would I get? My mom is wanting to know.
You would definitely get, I would say, if not all fours, then pretty much all fours.
Okay.
I'll just go back and make sure that there were no grammatical errors or anything like that. But you definitely hit the world class outcomes, the 21st century skills, and it was also very creative, and you did great. So
Thank you.
yeah. All right, Adam. So you have the controls, buddy. Whenever you're ready, just hit OK, and then we'll be able to see your screen.
All right, here it goes.
Okay.
I have a lot of screenshots.
Oh, well, good. Okay.
Okay, so now I'm going to go to the slide. So let's do that. So Japan's Olympic Guide.
Okay, so
The cherry blossom.
perfect.
Japan has a favorite flower, the cherry blossom.
Okay.
About the cherry blossom. The cherry blossom tree is very important to the Japanese culture. Each spring there is a festival celebration for the cherry blossom tree. People gather in parks to view the cherry blossom trees. The celebration is called Hanami. The blossoms last only a week and then life resumes as usual. People go about their daily lives as usual. I don't know why usual went down there, but
Oh, well, yeah. Just because the typing was a little big, but that's okay.
alright, so symbolism. In Japan, cherry blossoms are symbolized clouds because of their nature of blooming. Just oh my gosh. Okay. The cherry blossoms are symbolized clouds because of their nature of blooming in mass of nature of life.
Mhm.
Japan's cherry blossom naturally grows in the middle, northern, or southern part of China. Cherry blossoms are also symbolic of Japanese arts, manga, anime, and film, as well as musical performances for ambient effect.
Beautiful. So we are learning why the cherry blossom is important to Japan, a little bit about the symbolism, and of course that ties into the culture. Beautiful so far. Great.
Okay, so history of the cherry blossom. The National Cherry Blossom Festival is the gift and annual celebration to honor the lasting friendship between the United States and Japan and the close relationship between the two countries. In 1912, the gift of 3,000 cherry trees from Mayor Yukio Ozaki, he had them transported to the city of Washington, D.C.
Hmm. Yep. And so they grew
Other
up in Washington,
countries.
D.C. as well. That's good.
So you will find the cherry blossom trees in many countries because of many immigrants that have brought seedlings of cherry trees like Australia, Brazil, the United States, Canada, Germany, India, the Netherlands, and South Korea.
Hmm.
So, location and activities. Japan should be where the next 2020 Olympic Games should be held. Besides being a beautiful country, let's look at some other landmarks. In the next few slides, we will find many types of activities. And that's the distance from China to Japan down there.
Okay.
1,892 miles.
Okay.
Places to see and parks to an adventure. So here's Tokyo Tower, the capital of Japan.
Sure.
And the scientific name. The scientific name for the cherry blossom is Prunus cerulata. Their culture? Japanese are very protective with their people. They believe in black and green tea every day. They are very athletic. Their culture is very unique. It's a blend of Asian, Western, and modern.
I would agree.
They have arts, kabuki, costumes, dances, plays, and makeup.
Okay.
So my bid would be cost effective because I'll create lapel buttons, t-shirts, caps, banners. Each will sell for $1 on each product. I will embroider my floral design in the middle. On the left side, I will embroider the Mount Fuji, and on the right, I will embroider the Japanese flag.
All right.
The lapel button. This product can be worn on Olympic warm-up suits. It'll be very affordable, like you see here.
Okay. So, wow, you took it a step further and you're talking already about some of the products your design will be on. Good.
Japan sports. Here are some great sports that Japan's people enjoy. Now I can't go over them, but those are just examples. And then Owari, the end in Japanese. There are many reasons we should have the 2020 Summer Olympics in Japan. And my floral design. Let's look at some landmarks. This is my floral design of Tokyo Tower. It represents Japan's favorite flower. It is Tokyo Tower made out of cherry blossoms. That's it right there.
Yep, we definitely see that floral design. That's great. You tied in the culture as well as obviously the most popular and cost effective flower found in Japan. This is very good, Adam. All right, so
Thank you.
let's ask, and I'll turn everybody's microphones back on. Let's ask our audience here, how did he find the most cost effective and smart solution?
I think he did well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, how did he find the most cost effective and smart solution?
I think he talked about his products and um he made a good design. Yeah.
Absolutely. And he also chose a flower that's very abundant, right? Um, so it would be cost effective and smart. And then how did he represent his culture or the culture of Japan? Did he tie in a lot of important Japanese symbols into his final design?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he did. So that's what I'm getting at, guys. He met his world class outcomes. Very good. So, Tristan, I'm going to make you the presenter. So, you're going to see the buttons um, come up for you.
Whoa, is my screen being showed right now?
Yes, Flowers of India. We see it.
Okay. Flowers of India, presenting India's flower. Lotus flower. This is the national flower of India. It is also known as Nelumbo nucifera. The lotus flower represents good fortune, long life, and honor. The tuberous leaves and seeds of lotus flower are edible In the Hindu mythology, the unfolding petals of the lotus flower signify the expansion of the soul.
Very good. So,
Bamboo orchid.
you're telling us
It,
why you're choosing it. That's great. And what it is in Indian culture that makes it important. Good.
it is also known as Adrena graminifolia. The orchid blooms in summer and autumn. There are sheaths clasping the stem. The bracts are wide, triangular, and surround the main stalk of the flower cluster. Magnolia. It is also known as Magnolia grandiflora. This amazing tree has huge snow-white flowers that are cup-shaped when young. It has dark green leathery leaves that can get to be 10 inches long. Freesia. It is also known as Freesia sp. This flower has a nice scent and is a perfect addition to any flower garden.
Mhm.
This flower blooms up to 7 days. The blossoms are big and bell-shaped and can become a huge variety of colors. These flowers are truly beautiful and have an amazing smell that will catch the attention of anyone.
Good.
My design flowers. I will use I will use 1,000 lotus flowers because they only cost 10 cents per flower and it is the national flower of India. They also represent triumph and wealth.
Mhm.
I will use 700 freesia because they smell so good and they cost 25 cents a piece, which is not too expensive. I It also represents love and passion. I will use 50 magnolia because they are so pretty and they are $14 each. Note, they are so expensive because they are trees with blossoms on them. It represents loving nature and nobility.
Nobility. Very smart. You're
I
using
will
less magnolia because they're pretty expensive. Good.
right. I will use 800 bamboo orchids because they are so tall and cost 20 cents a piece. It represents beauty and being special.
Good.
The culture of India. The national animal. I actually didn't have very much time to make this, so I didn't have time to make it a bulleted list and stuff.
Okay.
The national animal is the tiger. They love music and dancing. They use the guitar to make music.
Good.
So I know this is empty, but it's because I haven't scanned in my final design yet.
Well, that's okay. You definitely did. Hi, Jaden. You did a really good job representing the flowers of India and why you chose them, how they represented the culture, and you talked about which ones are most cost effective. Um, so, would everybody agree that he met his world class outcomes? You could just type into the chat. Good. I'm getting a lot of yeses. Some people are sending it to me privately. Um, and that's good. Very nice, Tristan.
Thanks.
Do I have a volunteer to go next? Okay, Jaden would like to go. So, Jaden, I'm going to make you the presenter. So, make sure you have it up on your screen and ready to show.
Oh, I have one more question.
Sure.
Um, is the 9:30 VC over or something?
Yeah, 9:30. My 10:15ers are showing up now. So 9:30 kiddos, if you would like to go, you are welcome to. Or if you'd like to stay and watch some more, you can do that as well. Totally up to you. But I think I got through all of my 9:30 kiddos, except for maybe Grace Elizabeth. Um, so you might need to stay for just a minute, Grace. All right, let me make sure that your microphone is on, Jaden.
So,
Bye.
Okay, so yes, if you would like to go because you've already presented and you're in the 9:30 group, you can, or you can stay and watch a couple more.
this is my Hungarian Olympics project, Hungarian crocus. Scientific name, I cannot really read that.
Don't worry about the scientific names. Really, what we care more about is why you chose these flowers and how cost effective they are. So,
Well, it is the earliest blooming Hungarian flower, which I think is pretty interesting.
mhm, definitely.
Is cost effective because people grow large crops of them each year.
Hmm.
If you give people an even number, people won't accept a bouquet of, well, a gift of flowers. It has to be an odd number except for 13, 15 on my design.
Perfect. Oh,
The
that's a
least
nice little fun fact.
the least Gigia,
Hmm.
scientific name Gigia minima.
Sure. Don't
It,
worry about the
it
scientific name. Yeah.
it grows in broadleaf forests, which is pretty. It basically grows everywhere
Good. Okay, yeah. So it's very
in
abundant.
almost habitat.
Hmm.
Very cost effective because there's a lot of them in the world.
Okay.
The Buddha Castle. It was built in the 14th century.
Hmm. Definitely represents Hungary because it's one of those really important monuments.
Located in the capital of the city of Budapest.
Mm, good.
There is a labyrinth actually under the castle. A labyrinth
Hmm.
or a maze.
That's right.
And I will actually use a small scale model on my float design. It won't be the actual size.
Okay.
So the Capital Labyrinth statue, I think it's pretty cool
It is pretty cool. And how does it represent Hungary?
because horses actually played an important role in the Hungarian horse in the horse well in the horseman history in the Hungarian horseman history.
Okay, good. So I can see that you're going to use a statue like this, or at least of this shape, in your final design. Good.
Mhm. So this is my final design. The yeah.
All right, that's beautiful. And you've already talked about in your previous slides why you chose to use those flowers. And mostly you chose very abundant flowers that would be cost effective. And I can see that you represented Hungary um, with some culture and symbols that are important. So good job, Jaden. Pat yourself on the back. Yay! All right. And I know a couple of my
Okay.
1015ers are showing up now. So we're kind of wrapping up our presentations from the 930 group and we're getting right into the 1015 group. So let's see. Grace Elizabeth, are you ready to present? You're muted right now, so you're going to have to unmute yourself.
Miss Bruns,
Uh-huh.
I forgot how to do my thing online. So with my pictures, so I drew the pictures myself on a piece of paper. Is that okay if I show it on my webcam?
Um, yeah, yeah, we could do that. And then are you going to maybe scan it in and then send it to me that way so that I'll be able to see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's about Laos. I think that's how you pronounce it, Laos.
Laos. Laos is a country. Mm-hmm.
So this is the Laos national flag.
Okay. Very good.
It has a national bird too, and it comes in many different colors. It could be orange, yellow, green. It could be black, brown, any color, any color.
Very pretty. That's a great drawing. Okay. Yeah.
And Laos actually has a royal flag,
Okay.
which is a elephant, a red
Oh,
elephant. Sometimes it could be a tower, and there could be elephants coming out of the tower.
sure. Okay. All right. So I'm seeing some symbols of Laos so far. This is good.
And the flower of Laos is actually another the same national flower as another country. I
Oh.
forget what it is.
Oh, okay. So maybe you haven't quite gotten there yet.
Yeah, so I'm still working on it. I'm trying to make more pictures and everything.
Sure, sure. And when you're done with that, you'll definitely scan it and send it
Yeah,
to me. Okay,
yes, I will.
that's
Um,
great.
Write more facts about it and everything.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much. You have a really nice start. So, good job.
Sorry.
That's okay. You're fine. Um, let's see. Do I have a volunteer to go next? I know we haven't heard from Clara or AJ yet. How about you, Clara? Would you like to share yours? Do you have it up on your screen ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to make you the presenter. So we're going to be
Okay.
looking at your screen. And then AJ, get yours up and ready. You're going to go next.
Can you guys see it?
Yep.
Okay. So this is Surinam's floral design.
Tsunami. Hmm.
Tsunami. What? And this flora. Suriname is very abundant to orchids and water lilies.
Okay.
It's actually famous for um, water lilies and orchids, and there are many tropical shrubs, including hibiscus, bongdavilia, and oleander.
Okay.
There are at least 180 species of mammals. It's very tropical.
Yes, it is very tropical. Really close to the rainforest. So, yeah.
Yes, because it's located in South America.
hmm
And its native flowers are orchids, and they come in many colors and
Wow.
um, many different shapes. And its scientific name is Orchidea, orchid, orchid. I can't pronounce it,
Oh
but
yeah. Don't worry so much about the scientific name. I know.
um, and
And I see that you have the base price. That's good. Okay.
yes, and the prices for orchids can range from $400 to $35. It really depends on the type of orchid. Um, but I will be using these orchids for my design,
Okay.
and I will be using, they come in a 5-inch cluster,
Sure.
and
hmm
they will be $45.
Okay.
Um, so the Suriname culture, it has a strong Asian and African influence,
hmm
and people come from the Netherlands, India, Africa, China, and Indonesia, as well as the indigenous people. Um, and before the European arrival of European settlers, about 90% of people established in Suriname have ancestors who come from other countries and regions.
Okay.
Um,
It's a very diverse country. Okay.
yes, and dynamic. There is a Suriname Olympic Committee and it is the national governing body for sports in Suriname. It's called the SOC, and it was established in 1959. It has 17 members, um, and there are athletics, badminton, basketball, boxing, chess, cycling, judo, karate, shooting, football, swimming, table tennis, taekwondo, tennis, um, triathlon, volleyball, and wrestling.
Okay. So lots of good
And
information on the culture. Good.
yeah, and the Suriname flag, the red stripe represents the country's progress and struggle to achieve a better quality of life. The white stands for freedom and justice, and the green stands for fertil, yeah,
Fertility.
fertility, and natural resources of the land, as well as hope. Um, they, the original colors represented Suriname's political parties, um,
Yeah.
and
Very good. So we're learning a lot about the flag and why the colors represent different things. And so, are they going to be in your final design?
yes.
Okay.
Um, okay. So this is my final project. Basically, there's the um, orchid in the middle that I drew,
Mm-hmm.
and in the very middle behind the star, because the flag has the star, I drew it because I wasn't able to fit in the picture and it wasn't working right, will be the cluster of flowers that I
Sure.
chose.
Yeah.
And the circles around it represent the pattern of the flag, and
Oh,
how they are um, and they're also surrounding the orchid and how they are connected. And next to it are very similar. There are the rings. I just put them in a different way of the Olympics, that every flag has at least one of the colors and
sure.
how they are connected.
Wow. Wow, that was much deeper than I originally thought, that this actually is the pattern of the flag, but you made it into a circle, and then this is standing for the Olympic rings in a different way. That's really cool.
Yeah.
All right. So,
And this is my bibliography.
oh, great. I didn't even ask for that. That's perfect. So, everybody, did she meet her world class outcomes? Did she represent the culture and country artistically and accurately? And did she find a cost effective solution to this problem? Right. It's like you're getting some yeses. You did very good. And AJ, I'm going to make you the presenter. Good job, Clara.
Thank you.
So that we can see your presentation next.
Miss Bruns,
Yeah,
I actually did in a PowerPoint.
that's fine. It doesn't matter if it's a PowerPoint or you did a Google presentation. That's fine. Both are very, very good. And so, Grace Elizabeth and Micah, you guys were in our 9:30 group. So if you want to go, you can, or you can continue to watch a couple more examples if it's helpful. All right, it looks like we're looking at Cuba up on our screen, AJ. All right, so whenever you're ready, take it away.
Cuba by A.J. Deal. The Treaty of Paris established Cuban independence from the U.S. in 1902, after which the island experienced a string of government, mostly democratic,
Mostly
dominated by the military and corporate
politicians.
politicians.
His name is Yeah.
Fidel Castro led a rebel army to victory in 1959 in Cuba and become president. Fidel Castro iron rule held the subsequent regime together for nearly 5 decades.
Okay.
Fidel Castro stepped down as president in February 2008 in favor of his younger brother, Raul Castro.
Okay, so I think it's important to note that Cuba was very communist, which is a very different type of government than we have here in the United States, which is a democracy. Lots of problems came from Fidel Castro and some of his ideas. But it does represent their culture, so this is good.
Facts about Cuba. Cuba's official name is the Republic of Cuba. Island country in the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
Havana is the capital and the largest city. Santiago de Cuba, second largest city.
Sure.
Cuba is the largest island in the Caribbean.
Okay.
Over 11 million people live in Cuba. The main language in Cuba is Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
The currency in Cuba is Cuba peso.
The Cuban peso. Okay.
Cuban peso. Cuban convertible peso.
Peso. Okay. Okay, so we see a lot of religions of Cuba, so must represent the culture. They are probably a very religious country, I'm guessing.
Predominantly Roman Catholics.
Okay.
Protestant.
Protestant, Jehovah's Witness,
Jehovah's Witness. Jewish. Santeria a mix of Catholics and African American religion. Flag, flag of Cuba. The national flag of Republic of Cuba was adopted on March 20, 1902 as an official ensign representing the nation's sovereignty
Sovereignty.
sovereignty following the country's independence from the United States.
Okay.
Flower of Cuba, the white ginger, also known as the Flor de Mariposa. The height is 10 feet, the width is 3 feet.
Okay.
Geography and climate of Cuba. Cuba is the largest island nation in the Caribbean Sea, 780 miles long and 119 miles across. Its widest point and 19 miles across its narrowest points. More than 4,000 islands and cays are found in the surrounding seas and bays.
Okay. All right. So a little bit about the terrain.
Terrain is mostly flat and rolling plains, with rugged hills and mountains in the southeast.
Okay.
Tropical and moderated by trade winds. The dry season lasts from November to April, and the rainy season from May to October.
All right. So let's just for time's sake, AJ, and you're definitely going to be emailing this to me so I can look through
Yeah.
all of it. But let's skip ahead to maybe your final design and anything about the cost effectiveness. Um, if you don't mind, just so that we can make sure that we give everybody a chance, because I know Charlie still has to present. Um,
I think I forgot the final design.
oh, okay. All right. So we haven't done the final design yet. So maybe that's something you could work on today. I
Yeah.
really like the slide that we're looking at here, the culture of Cuba, because we know that that was an important part of our project. And so I'll just quickly go through it. It looks like we have Spanish, African, and Creole influences in the people. So lots of different cultures kind of blended together. They love music and dance.
Sorry.
That's okay. And I'll let you go ahead and read it for us if you would.
Cuban loves music and dance, Afro-Cuban rhythms to classical melodies. Modern arts are embraced, ballet, modern dance, and film. Cubans like to celebrate special events with gusto, birthdays, holidays, and marriages.
Okay.
Coffee, cigars, and rum are consumed freely.
Okay. Yeah, leave the rum part out of your final design. But
Okay.
all right. So yeah, I'll let you go ahead and maybe design something that with using that flower that we saw on that one slide that you had.
White ginger.
And then you can email it to me. So very good job, AJ. Thank you. All right, Charlie. Are you ready to present? Can I make you the presenter, Charlie? You got to make sure your microphone's on. I think it's probably off. For now, I'm going to go ahead and maybe let's see. So Charlie, if you have your presentation up and ready, make sure it's on your screen, and then you're going to have to turn your microphone on because you have yourself muted. Okay, he says that he's not ready. Okay, so perhaps you can get that to me sometime today, hopefully. Um, but for everybody else, let's just kind of review. I know a lot of you, came in after the 9:30 kids had already left. So I just want to point out a couple important things that you can see here, general announcements. March 3rd and March 10th, we have kind of a different type of virtual classroom schedule, and that's because of TCAP testing that takes place for 2 weeks straight, basically. For you guys, you only have to come for 1 week, but I have to be there for 2 weeks because I have to proctor the 7th through 12th graders as well. So anyway, you're going to have kind of a different looking virtual classroom schedule for those 2 weeks. So I've linked it on here so you can kind of see when you're supposed to attend. So let me just tell you, if you do not see your name here on March 3rd, that means you're not coming at all on March 3rd. If you don't see your name on anything for March 10th, then that would mean you're not going to come on March 10th. Okay. Um, so for instance, let's just say you're Clara. So Clara, Lucas, and Charlie will come on March 10th from 10 to 10:30. Okay, and we're going to be what we're going to do is we're going to review the rubrics for the project that you just completed. Your rubric will be done by then, so your grade will be done, and we'll go over it together. So that's kind of what you'll be doing, either March 10th or March 3rd, just depending on who you are. Are there any questions on your March 3rd or March 10th schedules? Okay. All right, so then I'm going to just show you your TCAP schedule. So I have that linked on here as well. I'll pull it up for you. So grades 4, 5, and 6, that's all of you, are going to be testing March 4th, March 5th, and March 6th. And here's the location. You need to bring a lunch, water, snacks, books, and magazines, and then the time, and they're all the same. So you're gonna report by 8:30, and then you're gonna have your parents pick you up at 1 o'clock. If for some reason you get sick one of these 3 days, this is the makeup testing time, and that would be on March 14th. I know TCAPs, they are what they are. They just, whatever. And Clara asked, why do we have to bring like a book or a magazine? Well, sometimes when there's downtime in between tests, you can, have something to do, basically. Okay. You have something to work on or to read so that you don't just sit there bored. This Thursday, for your virtual classroom, we are going to do a little TCAP prep. So if you want to look at the agenda, you can. I know a couple of you, because of where you live, are not going to be attending, and that's fine. It's still going to be exciting for all kids and good practice. So you can still come. All right. So are there any questions on what on these general announcements? I'm watching the chat. I'm not seeing anything come up. So I'm assuming we're all good on that. You guys did a fantastic job today of presenting your final projects. Pretty much everybody has hit these two world-class outcomes and did a really nice job. If you are one of those kiddos who is still completing your project, I will look for you to be sending it to me sometime very soon. If you still want to look over the rubric and kind of grade yourself, then you can do that as well. All right, Grace Elizabeth, you have 3 questions. Everybody else, you are free to go unless you have a question as well. So Grace Elizabeth.